Item number YOS 4840. Object Class Keter. Containment Procedures. Containment of YOS 4840 is impossible by any means. Personnel must keep an eye on the location where YOS 4840 is at, and personnel must scare it off by going nearby it. YOS 4840 must remain in its original location at all times. A barbed wire fence must surround its location to prevent escape. If it attempts to leave the area, MTF Unit 27 must track it down as soon as possible. At no circumstances is YOS 4840 required to defecate in a distant room. Personnel must scare it off before it affects the room and becomes inaccessible. Description: subjects who catch glimpses of YOS 4840, or track it in video surveillance, describe it as a humanoid figure that resembles a nude African American. Researchers eventually took notice that its DNA is nowhere close to regular human DNA, but still resembles a dark-skinned human. Despite YOS 4840 being unable to be captured due to its instant transportation, they used a different type of technology to test its DNA by taking photographs. YOS 4840's anomalous properties is the reaction to stay out of sight from living organisms. This includes humans. It can tell when something is moving nearby, and will retreat immediately to a distant room, a dark room if it chose to. YOS 4840 can transport to a different area using open spaces. Despite its size, it can phase its entire body to make room for the entire transporting. Subjects reported that once it's in a distant dark area and out of sight, they heard loud sounds of flatulence and possibly defecation. Then they came to notice that an entire room is completely covered in fecal matter, and it's inaccessible. They ran out due to the foul smell. YOS 4840 can rarely transport out of the location it's within, but can't transport out if a metal barbed wire fence is outside the area. Addendum 4840-1. YOS 4840 was found in a house in Michigan in Street. When Foundation staff caught glimpses of YOS 4840, but no matter what they did, they couldn't contain the entity, so they tried to scare it off and block it from escaping the house. Addendum 4840-2. Multiple people who brought the house YOS 4840 resides in caught glimpses of the entity. They had to move out of the house because of the foul smell from the constant flatulence and defecation. Item number YOS 1855. Object Class Keter. Containment Procedures. All instances of YOS 1855 are to be stored within a 10-meter containment chamber. Any instance that possesses organic tissue must be terminated immediately. Any personnel that feels any effects of getting inside an instance of YOS 1855 must be removed and quarantined for at least 4 days. Any YOS 1855 instance that is outside of its chamber must be moved by MTF Unit 19. If any member of the unit attempts to get in the specimen is to be terminated immediately. The chamber must be polluted by an air conditioner and an air freshener in order to terminate the smelling effects from the tissue-possessing specimen. It is often quite difficult to contain every instance of YOS 1855, due to some of them somehow escaping the chamber and are often found in people's homes. YOS 1855 instances that are found with organic tissue filling the inside. The house will be a containment area and is to block access from entering. If too many instances of YOS 1855 are in people's homes and gain contact to organic human tissue, most of them must be terminated. Description: YOS 1855 are a set of boxes made out of a rubber structure. They measure 4.5 meters tall, and possess some extra-dimensional properties. Instances of YOS 1855 teleport to random homes when humans are present inside. When the subject is nearby, it will use its abilities to attract the subject to go inside it. Once inside, it will alter the subject's body until it is a mass of organic tissue. The clothes will also melt away during this process until its structure is no longer present. The tissue will then be its protector from any organism. It will expel an odor of smell that can attract unsuspecting human subjects. Once they are close enough, the tissue will then connect with the skin, connecting to the mouth, and will then release a hard brown structure that has a bad smell and taste. It will then force the subject to swallow it whole. After 2 hours, the subject's body alters into another instance of YOS 1855, and will possess the same behavior as the others. These effects do not seem to affect animals, only humans will be targeted by the specimens. Addendum 01. April 17, 2002. The Foundation came to the attention of the first instance of YOS 1855 they discovered when an African-American male came into contact with it. The Foundation then found it in his bedroom and has been turned into an organic tissue structure. MTF Unit 12 came to the house to investigate. They were disgusted by the smell, but was told to recover it to Site 29. April 28, 2002. The box was sent to a 3-meter-cubed container to test its effects. D7835 was sent in to test the effects while the tissue is present. He started to get an urge to come closer to the specimen. The substance connect with his mouth and gave him an infection for 2 hours, until he became another box inside his cell. More instances were reported found during this event. Addendum 02. Researchers came to the notice that multiple specimens of YOS 1855 somehow escaped their chamber, and they sent a different unit of MTF guards to track them down. After this happened about 76 times, they had to be terminated by a request from the 07 command. Additional notes. As of May 14, 2009, multiple personnel were reported missing while still in Site 29, or when they're on break. Addendum 03. Multiple photos were sent to personnel in order to examine the first appearance of a YOS 1855 instance. Item number. YOS 2565. Object class. Keter, formerly Euclid. Containment procedures. YOS 2565 is uncontainable by any means. Level 4 staff are to track the platform that YOS 2565 currently resides in, and deter civilians to save the character by closing the application itself. Upon no means are instances of YOS 2565 to enter their demonic state. The application is to be closed and stayed off for 4 to 5 hours. Description. YOS 2565 are a group of humanoid demonic figures that have the ability to transport to different sources that revolves around the platform Gacha life. They resemble a human female with quite pale skin, dark eyes with a red glow, dark hair with cat ears, a maid outfit, dark cat paws, a dark tail, and 2 rows of bat wings with a wingspan of 5 meters. They also hold a weapon with unknown make. YOS 2565 instances disguise themselves as a different person cosplaying as a pink cat, with pink hair, a tail, and paws. They also possess sharp fangs that resemble the felines. Instances show signs of extreme love when they gain contact with a character within the platform, and often at times call them senpai. At this moment, the character is always sentient and will react in 2 ways. The character allows the instance to hang out and love them for long periods of time. Or the character denies the instance's love and tries to get away from it. The instance doesn't seem to show love at all, it seems to be obsessed with the character. If the character denies its obsession with it, it will beg them to love them back, and will pretend to cry so it would convince them to hang out. After these plans don't work, it would show anger and transform into its true shape and become hostile to the character who denied it, and the character has 3 choices. The character has a chance to love them back, which makes them turn back into their disguise and show excitement. The instance kills the character and the character will be unusable at any attempt, and the character will convince the creator to close the platform and leave it off for 4 to 5 hours. Instances of YOS 2565 have the ability to transport the subject into the platform and trap them for long periods of time. The instances have a name that is normally hidden above them that reads Abby Lamington. Researchers take that name and find the person with that particular name, and it was basically a 20-year-old light-skinned human female that seemed to be missing for 2 years. Abby and YOS 2565 instances have a connection between that name, due to the behavior of both of them. In Abby's article, it says,
Abby is a 20-year-old woman who seems to love everybody, and it got so strong that it became an obsession, and is weirded out by many people. She would constantly beg people to be with her for days, and people were sick with her. The woman was missing for 2 years during April 2021. The police went into her home to investigate. They went into her room and checked on her phone that seems to be on a platform called Gotcha Life. They didn't see her anywhere and left the house, and she remains missing for a while.
The reading in the article might have meant that Abby was transported into the platform itself and cannot seem to get out. But she decided to remain in the game for the rest of her life, and somehow managed to transform into a demonic entity, being able to disguise herself and make multiple identical replicas of herself, while still having her original personality intact, and will force people inside it to trap them until they love her back and hang out with her. Instances of YOS 2565 are called YOWs, meaning that the person has a strong desire to love the person constantly. YOS 2565 can speak full sentences in English, but at some time will vocalize sounds similar to a feline. Addendum. YOS 2565 was discovered when people go missing, and tracks their location, which is the platform Gotcha Life they currently reside in. They kept watch of the platform to see any subjects entering it, and went to warn people not to open the platform until they contained them. Addendum 2. Dr. Frank volunteered to enter the game to contain YOS 2565, and remained there for years to keep track of her. They speak in text form.
Hello there.
Senpai.
Whoa, calm down, I need you to come with me.
I'll do anything for you, Senpai.
Alright, come on.
It's assumed that Frank did the job and kept one of them, while there are still a bunch of them out there. YOS 2565 is reclassified as Keter since there is still more roaming in and haunting the game. Testing logs. Multiple tests were planned for the staff entering and interacting with YOS 2565 directly. Here are the tests. Test 1. Dr. Edward went inside the platform and interacted with an instance. He didn't seem to like her behavior and also seemed to think she was taking love too seriously. He denied all of his requests and was terminated shortly after. Test 2. Dr. Larry entered the platform and interacted with YOS 2565. He reacted the same way as Edward, and ran away from her. As he denied, he also was terminated by the entity. Test 3. Jonathan volunteered to enter the platform and directly interacted with the entity. He accepted and hung out with her for days and decided to remain in the platform to keep her in that server to prevent her from transporting. Test 4. Jake volunteered to enter the platform to interact with a YOS 2565 instance. He uses his kindness to her and starts to excite the instance so much that Jake allowed her to kiss him, same as Jonathan. He also resides in the platform for days. Audio log. On July 21, 2022, there was a brief audio pickup from one of the surveillance. The instance and the subject was talking to each other in text form.
Hello, Senpai.
Hello, I would like to hang out with you.
Oh, you 100% can hang out with me.
Alright, come with me.
Whatever you say, Senpai.
At this time there are 700 or more instances of YOS 2565 inhabiting the platform at this moment. They are uncontainable by any means. Item number. YOS 8659. Object class. Keter. Containment procedures. Anytime YOS 8659 appears during the night must be reported immediately. YOS 8659 is to be subdued within the victim's house, and must immediately get its anal cavity plugged and forcefully removed from the victim's house. At this time, the containment of YOS 8659 is difficult at this time. Description. YOS 8659 is a humanoid entity measuring 5 feet tall. It has a dark skin tone and is incapable of moving on 2 legs, although on rare occasions it does, and appears to lack eyes. It doesn't wear clothing, and will sometimes wear a leather pair of pants if it wants to. YOS 8659 seems to target humans who are in the ages of 5 to 12, and will go after its target and kill the human. YOS 8659 prefers to hunt down humans during the night, and sneak into people's homes to attack young humans. In the daytime, the sun seems to cause damage to its skin, and will evacuate in a cave or another shaded area. YOS 8659 only lets its entire body be exposed when it kills a young subject. It will only eat parts of the victim, and leave the rest to rot away. After its consumption, it will start emitting flatulent sounds and defecate. After the process is complete, it will eat the fecal waste as a second food source. YOS 8659 likes to hide in dark areas. If a light source is upon it, it will be startled and retreat to the darkness. YOS 8659 can also manifest underneath the victim's bed, upon close proximity. YOS 8659's hideout is not detectable by any means, as it hides its place from witnesses. Addendum. The Foundation got attention when a bunch of children were killed from unknown force or an unknown person. The Foundation tried to track it down during daytime, but it was impossible. At night, however, it was detectable. Unfortunately, due to its ability to manifest elsewhere, containment is quite difficult. Addendum 2. A live human child was placed into one of the bedrooms and waited for YOS 8659 to manifest. It appeared 2 hours later. MTF Unit 73 went into the room and tried to subdue the entity. Suddenly, YOS 8659 released a huge flatulence gas and large amounts of defecation as a way for self-defense. The gas was strong enough to kill anything around it, so Unit 73 members and the tested child were terminated in the process.